Hello, my name is Alan.
And I'm Albert.
We are your co-hosts, and this is Vessel, an actual play RPG podcast using the Genesis system by Fantasy Flight Games.
This is a co-GM series. That means we both have characters and we both have influence on the world around us.
There is some conversational swearing. If you are uncomfortable with that, then this may not be the podcast for you. We apologize.
We resumed this episode with the continuation of last week's session.
You see that his wrist thing is actually like on the floor. Yeah, and it's clear there's some sort of message.
I guess I just pick it up. I should roll a computer's check, even though this is easy.
Sure, yeah, it's easy.
It's part of my character's background that he doesn't know computers. Yep.
Yeah, you succeed.
Yeah, I know. Right, gotta open up the one that looks like a mail, and it says...
So, you get the messenger, and it's the sunset eye again. It just says Denton, and with a question mark.
Yes?
You need to get Vint out of there, and you need to go now.
Whoa. Wait, what?
It closes.
Shit. I'm gonna roll a computer's check to attempt to send a message. Oh god. It would... What was it, like now? Like full caps, exclamation points?
No, there's no punctuation.
Okay, it's just now.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no associated urgency to it. So I am going to attempt to...
Well, actually, so Oracle, there's no like commas or periods or anything, but the first letter of every word is capital.
Okay. That's the only punctuation?
The first letter of every word is capital.
Okay. I'm not going to read too much into that because I don't think Denton would. Anyways, I'm still going to try to get in contact with Vint.
Yeah, make a...
The thing is that I don't know how shadowjacking would work in this context, so I'm trying to message you. But it's not as if you're a device.
I imagine that in your military experience, the first thing you would think of is like a flare of some kind. Just like send something, right? So you just try to plug it into like the node and just send like all frequency broadcast.
This isn't a context of a smartphone. Denton's the sort of guy, he's good at ham radios. You give him a smartphone, he's like that's how I imagine Denton with technology.
I mean, you can try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, but
this is gonna be hard.
So I'm gonna give you another Jenga block.
Sure.
I'm gonna upgrade to a perk. I have a lot of Jenga blocks. I'm gonna do this twice.
Okay.
I don't want to fail. You get 3 Jenga blocks now. Hey.
You succeed?
Yeah, with 1 advantage.
Okay.
The message is something along the lines of like, danger close, bogeys incoming, please respond, how copy. I'm assuming people get like messages on their fridge or something. Yeah. Someone downstairs is like, meh, spam.
So my question to you then is, how do threats represent themselves in this place? Because I'm in this computer, and these threats just arrive here.
Threats? What threats?
Just something.
Oh, they would manifest as actual enemies. So whatever, they manifest different ways.
Sure.
Depending on how the person designed them and how your brain would interpret them. Because a shadowjack can like weirdly metaphysically associate a structure to something that is just code. So even though it's just a security program that's designed to do something, it might look like RoboCop, or it might look like a mech, or it could look like an actual guard dog.
So I'm going to say that for this particular case, whatever is happening, it just triggers like a purge of the whole system for like building. So like just things just start to drop off and disappear.
Yeah, and it would happen with building infrastructure, not for personal devices. So the device you're in right now is not affected, but...
Right, the tunnels and all that occurs behind me.
Yeah, so you start like running and it's kind of reverberating. It's as if it's an echo in the tunnel. And the tunnels kind of like do this thing of like it warbles as if there was like an explosion a couple miles away, but it's in the opposite direction of Denton's voice. And to you, it kind of feels like as if something big is stomping its way through the tunnels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just get out and I start running back and I follow the beacon of my device.
Roll another astrogation, but you get 2 blue dice.
What's the difficulty?
Average, because you've traveled the route already. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep, just one success. I think I should roll a perception for this thing. That seems reasonable, right? 2 proficiencies, 1 regular, and at an average. You're not making attempts to hide, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to get out as fast as I can.
Yeah,
in fact, I said it's too easy, so I'm doing the exact opposite of hiding.
Okay.
Yeah,
it notices you.
I don't know what it is.
In your mind, it lets out this, and it's like an echolocation thing, and you can feel it ping you. You're like more than halfway to getting out. You need to roll an athletics check because you're running. It would just be an average because you're just sprinting.
2 threats.
I'm just gonna give this guy a blue die.
Sure.
He's gonna roll. He's gonna
try roll initiative.
He's gonna try to catch you. Yeah, but it's just 2 of us, so it's gonna go back and forth anyways. Sure. He's just trying to catch you.
Okay. That's just like a spider thing.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I mean, I'd say that this is cocked.
I mean, I didn't see it as cocked. It looked pretty good to me.
Okay.
So that's still 1 failure.
And an advantage?
2 advantages.
2 advantages? I'll take a boost on this.
Yeah, so essentially like it comes down that tunnel and its inertia like makes it like almost run against the wall. And it's coming after you, chirping maniacally.
Alright, fine. I'm just gonna shoot it.
Yeah.
As I'm running. Fuck. That's awful.
But you got a shit ton of advantages.
4 advantages? I can trigger a crit.
But you didn't hit. Right. You could take another maneuver and just outpace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
He's gonna take strain to maneuver and to close the distance again.
Double move?
Yeah, he's
so
a double move.
Long.
On top of his back, 2 little gun-looking things come up and they charge. You know those things as tracker augmenters. It sends like a pulse in it when it hits you. It augments a small part of you, and it leaves a detectable trace that it could potentially follow you. It makes it easier to track you if it hits you.
Sure.
So
it's at long range, so it's 3 difficulty dice.
Yeah, and this thing is not. I'm just gonna give it 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be good at everything. That would be unfair.
Yes, it succeeds.
Does it?
No.
No, it's a wash.
Nothing. It's a wash.
It's a wash with 2 threats.
Okay.
No, 1 threat.
I'm
gonna give it 1 strain, and it misses.
I move. I shoot.
You got 2 more rounds until you can get to your port, and you know it can't follow you out.
I'll take a strain. I'll take 2 strain to aim. 1 success.
1 success.
It's just 5 damage.
5 damage. It looks flaggered for a second, and it lets out. It just reinvigorates the chirping.
So that thing that's chasing me, but there's something else bigger coming through the tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's its turn again.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna double move, and he's gonna try to hit again.
Fails of 2 threats.
Yeah.
Can I take a maneuver with those?
Yes.
I'll do an aim and a double move.
You've been double moving this whole time, right?
Some of it. Gonna take another shot at it. That looks good. This is caught.
That is a lot of successes. So that's 4 successes.
And 1 advantage. And I mean, like, it's what? 9 damage?
Ooh, yeah. So you hit that thing right in the face. So before, when you had hit it, it's like as if you delete a portion of it.
Sure.
And it loses half of its like frontal body area.
Uh-huh.
And it just collapses and rolls, and then it slowly starts falling apart into a string of code.
At this point, I find where I came from.
Yeah, I said you were 2 turns away. That was the end of the second turn. You do get back, and you jump out, and
Do I manage to see what's the big thing coming at me before I leave?
You can't see it, but there is another skill that you could attempt to try. You could like sonar pulse. One of the drawbacks that you know from this is that anything that is Shadowjack sensitive has the potential of seeing you if you roll despair.
Oh, okay. I'll try it. Because this is an Arcana, right?
Yeah.
What's the difficulty? Besides the challenge dice.
Probably just that looks good to me.
1 time. This is cocked. Oh.
Ooh,
2 advantages, 2 failures.
It's garbled and distorted.
Okay.
And it's not as if something's blocking you. It's just you know that in this heat of the moment, you lack the concentration to conduct it properly. You don't really want to risk staying.
Yeah, I just don't.
2 advantages, right?
Yep.
What do you want to do with those? You want to recover strain, or you want to just...
I'm just gonna use that to just immediately get out.
Okay, yeah, you maneuver. So Denton's sitting there, and he's like, did I send it right? He clicks
just
it again.
Grab it from your hand.
Whoa,
and put it on.
shit! So, like, you... Describe how it looks coming back out.
There's a spark and it just sort of starts to come out slowly, but it's exponential. So it just there's a few little like pixels coming out, and then it's like, and then it's there.
You were running when that
Yeah.
happened, so it's like as if you just run out of the wall.
And I just sort of grab my watch.
Jesus, you need to tell... Is there a way you can tell me before you come out of that shit?
Did you do?
The scary eye said we need to leave now.
I don't want to go past the guards again. I jack into the other watch and see if there's just a map of the building.
Why would you have a map of your building?
I don't know. Sometimes you have like.
I'm gonna take one of these. He got an orientation pamphlet still saved on his watch that he got when he moved in about a year ago.
Sure, and I find the stairwell.
Yeah, there's an emergency exit stairwell that's nearby, and
Go out that emergency exit stairwell and just run back to the car. Can we call the car to us?
no, we don't have a fancy car. Yeah, I don't really see the point in drawing this out. Yeah, we get back to the car.
So just to be clear, Zern is just Ripjaw, right?
Maybe. And now, for this week's episode. Alright, so we quote-unquote leveled up.
Yeah.
Because I forgot to assign XP for the past 2 sessions. I forgot XP was a thing.
I was sort of sent a message on the Discord. It's just like, hey, shouldn't we have experience points?
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, 40. So this is session 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of plot threads going on.
So we went to the bank.
Yeah.
I was able to get a log of the people who had logged in, who had accessed the system.
Yeah, through a super awkward encounter with like you hiding in a stall.
Yeah.
And then we left an emergency exit.
And then we went to the large corporate building across the street where we knew something was going on. There's a crime scene that we didn't get a great chance to look at, but I was able to shadowjack into some sort of computer. I don't know.
You accessed the building network.
And I was able to get a name of Zern Sinless, who is listed as the sole proprietor of the Grand Mushroom Incorporated.
Yes.
And I was also able to get a file marked Ledger 533, which is some sort of year.
Yes, and by ledger I mean like tax records or whatever. So the scene will probably open up something like it's a different filter. So it's like this weird like it's like the Mexico filter from Breaking Bad. You know, it's like that weird yellow tint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. It's completely quiet. You see, like, there's a bunch of footprints, and there's, like, a crater somewhat off to the side that's smoking. A mech foot goes across the screen. And there's, like, people yelling, and there's bullets flying. Then you see these mechs. They're maybe about close to 11, 12 feet tall, so about twice as tall as humans.
Mm-hmm.
They're firing at raiders. They're wearing like scrap armor. There's one that looks like a centaur. There's another one that looks, compared to the mech, he's actually pretty decently sized, a little bit shorter, but he obviously looks like an ogre or something of that sort of monstrous size. One of the mechs is crouching down, and there's like soldiers stacked up behind him. And then you hear over the radio, "We need to get to the next encampment. They're already swarming over the barriers." Like it flashes to his face. Mm-hmm. There's like a warning on the heads-up display. Like he's like, "Get down!" And then just right then, as soon as Denton's about to say something, turns slightly to cover the people behind him. And as soon as that explosion hits, Denton wakes up and he like bolts up in his bed, and the filter's gone, and it's just dark. And there's like a single beam of light that's coming in, and he's laying there on his bed, and it's the obligatory like fan service shot. He gets up after panicking for a second, sits up in his bed, and he sighs, and then the scene transitions to. It's probably gonna like start off like the news report, and then we'll pan out, and it'll be like a TV.
Yeah, so there's it opens with like the dramatic music and like the revolving text around like a logo, just like really corny, and it zooms out, and it's the news reporter is a female news reporter with like this like really high collared dress. The first story is a data bank recently had a lot of files stolen. It's the Baron Data Securities. They take in user data and they store it and keep it secure, but recently there's been a major breach, and a lot of those files have been leaked out.
Okay.
And it's a lot of just like personal and identifying information for just people.
Alright. Is that the only thing you had?
And the other one I had of a lot of larger broadcasting networks have been shut down recently. Not necessarily shut down, but they've had blackouts.
All right. What's the cited reason like that they're giving?
Broadcasting networks are all basically saying that it was a technical malfunction because an employee had basically just messed up some basic thing, and they are doing an investigation onto, how to prevent this in the future, but no one's claiming responsibility for it, and people are just sort of going along with the idea that it was just an accident.
So mine is also a news story about military controversy involving a recent policy that's been enacted, where in addition to increasing some government funding and setting up a plan to establish more mech production foundries, one of the big ones that is under controversy is the increase of conscriptions. It's caused for alarm because it was already enacted, but now that people are aware of this more publicly, there's like some protesting, and it's just this huge thing, and it's more of an update story. This has been happening for a bit.
Okay.
And then she ends it with the new steps in genetic engineering, you can also own a rabbit cat. We'll have one on set coming next. And now for sports, Dan. And it flashes over to Dan. He's like this robot in a suit. And then I'm assuming as soon as that happened, Vint turns off the TV. Sports, no. Denton's not in the office yet.
Oh, it's just Vint?
Yeah. Cassandra's computer is probably on. It looks like she was there, but it's obvious she was here early, but she's not here currently. The coffee maker is still on. You're just in the office alone. Wait, is there even a TV in the office?
There is now.
Well, I'm assuming
It's future, right? So, there doesn't have to be a physical TV. It can just get projected onto, the wall or something.
Oh, you know what it is? Since our office is, we have a section that is not used, whenever I'm not there, you activate something so it has this weird, barrier. So you work on multiple shit and you just keep things on in the background. Have to flick your hand and it goes away. So you're sitting at the desk with the one monitor, but your wrist is displaying different holographic displays of various things, and you're working on multiple things. And one of the things was that newscast, but you swipe it away.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And then you continue with your work. What type of work would you be doing right now?
Right now, I am probably going through these files, and I have a program running that's just combing out a lot of the names that appear often, any of the stuff that I would expect to see. This program's just kind of actively combing those out.
Oh, from the files you got from Oliver?
No, the bank files and the ledger.
Okay, roll a computer's check with 2 boosts since you had some time and you're running some software on it.
What's the difficulty?
This one, it would be hard because it's the bank software.
Oh, should I do them separately then? The ledger and the bank? Because the ledger I got from the...
Yeah, separately.
Okay.
So this is the bank.
Are you serious? Okay, still succeed.
Yeah.
That's a lot of empty dice.
Yeah. So that...
Succeed with 2 advantages.
Okay. So the success, as you look through it, it takes a while, but you're unsure about the stuff that happened in the farther back than a couple of days. Around the time that the supposed incident happened across the street, there's a couple of data logs, and they've clearly been tampered with.
Okay.
It's suspicious because it's multiple people logging in with the exact same identification. So it's like they got one access code for all of them.
Okay. Is there any way I can track down who this belongs to?
It's possible, but this is another check that involves those two dices that were suspiciously there when you did our prep stuff. So just to be clear, you're rolling a hard check, but 2 of them are...
Yeah.
What are those things called?
Challenge.
Challenge. Yeah, challenge dice.
So it's just like an alphanumeric key, right?
In a way, yes.
Okay. Oh no. This is still cocked.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
All the positive dice are blank, and all the negative dice have an X on it.
At least there's no despairs. The code itself is obviously like a data crack code type thing, but there's no signatures on it. Each one of them were done in a weird separate way that you can't wrap your head around just yet. It's like when you're doing a puzzle that you can't solve and you're just staring at it for 20 minutes and nothing dawns on you. All right, and then the next check was for the ledger that you got from the building itself.
Yeah.
All right.
Same difficulty?
No, that one's just gonna be an average one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like they were hiding anything.
1 success, 2 advantages.
All right, so the success, as you look through it, it's definitively not tampered with. It just looks like some old access logs, but it does cite a lot of expenses for. A lot of it's just fluff, like salaries. There's like a condensed page, but the condensed page just has like salaries for employees, expenditures, revenue, stuff like that. And then also has like tax information. But towards the end of it, you start realizing that there's a lot of like unbalanced parts. Accounting is not your thing, so it's suspicious to you, but you don't know exactly how. You just know because you're quick maths. It doesn't add up. There's really no way to tell where it exactly went. You just know that something's wrong with this company. Which, by the way, you should roll a history check for.
I believe I rolled that last session.
Did
and
you?
Failed.
No, you rolled one on the name.
Oh.
Not on the company.
Ledger? Or the company?
Yeah.
Okay, my history is not good. What's the difficulty?
Would be hard. Hey.
Hey, pretty okay.
1 success and
1 threat.
Okay, so the Grand Mushroom Corporation is a smaller company that's underneath a bigger company that you recognize. It's a company underneath the Tolas and conglomerate. You got an advantage, right?
No, threat.
A threat. Okay. You don't know exactly who they are. You just know that they're pretty big in certain parts of the city. But they used to own it. That branch has been since dissolved. The mushroom aspect of it, and they ran like entertainment corporations, so like a casino, a couple of like theaters and stuff like that. So like they were primarily an entertainment company.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. Wait, would you roll a knowledge history or a knowledge underworld?
It was history.
If you got a rank in underworld,
No.
never mind then.
I mean, I can roll it anyway if you want.
No, it's a lot of checks. Let's just move on.
Huh. So this key I got, the bank log, is it unique in any way, or is it just like random letters and numbers?
It's more of like a code, but yes, it does represent itself in numbers, but it's more of a matrix rather than a single line code.
Huh.
It's like a matrix code.
But it's definitely like a real like login. It's not like a fake one that someone made.
Without really going into the nitty-gritty stuff about my actual knowledge of computers, because that's very limited. Like, they didn't use the keyhole, they like went to the side of the door and used a butter knife to jimmy it open. Like, that's kind of the digital equivalent.
Sure, okay.
Let's all make fun of Alan for how little he knows about computers now.
Jimmy it open.
Also, another thing that we haven't really looked at is the other aspects that we got from Oliver.
So Carrots is the guy we're looking for, right? He's the guy who recently entered the city.
You know that his name was important in Orcish, but you don't know how.
Oh right, Ripjaw was the guy. Yeah, so Ripjaw was the prison who was seen entering Gown through a checkpoint run by callous communities. Oh, can I like use my computer to look up who Zern Sinless is?
Yes.
Yeah, what's this check?
Just be average.
2 advantages, 2 threats.
Okay,
2 successes.
It takes a while, but you do find a Zern Sinless. You have like a social security number and like basic stuff about him. He was a business owner. There's a couple of like shots of him with like shaking hands with the people.
So the pictures match that of Ripjaw?
No.
Is there any information on like previous affiliations?
You can loosely figure out who he was associated with, but I don't have any information on that.
Okay.
But there's a lot of like articles about like certain things that the casino did. A lot of it's more like fluff pieces and like advertising. There's like one like news article that's like about him opening the casino. Then there's another one about his company getting acquired, and then his. But towards the end of it, the last record you saw of him was about from 2 years ago, where he was under investigation for associations with the insurgency, but he was acquitted of all charges. There was insufficient evidence to support any claims, so he was released.
Does he have any public presence right now? Is he?
No, there's no articles about him publicly, but it's not like the government keeps track of everyone. Granted,
Right.
There's some information, but not with that check. There wasn't enough to figure out anything more.
He's not currently running any businesses.
Yeah, there's no businesses registered to him.
Oh, I'll also look up recent crime reports from Gown and see if I can identify who exactly was dead in that room.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the difficulty?
This be hard.
I guess obituaries too.
Oh, is it public knowledge, or are you like actually trying to get into like the police network? Both. Okay.
I'll do the public one first.
Okay, public's average. You get a lot of police reports for trying to figure out who died in that building.
Mm-hmm.
For Gowan, there's a lot of obituaries. Like you go through it and you're like, Jesus, people get murdered a lot in Gowan. It's like the number one death rate in Gowan. So you're going through it. There's a lot, like a lot. But one advantage is that there's a recent assault with a really suspiciously familiar name. Takes you a few seconds to remember it, but apparently our old friend Roger filed an assault charge. he had a vague description, but there's nothing concrete, and you just giggle to yourself for a second.
Okay, I'll be sure to erase that if I can.
And then with that other advantage, you have one that was down the street. It's like in an alley. It's like really close to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only one that's near that area. Because it's the area that we were in is like a street area.
Yeah.
So like murders that were happening are all like residences and like back alleys and like industrial zones. But in the actual business section, there's not a lot of murders or things that happen. But there was one like within the same day about like a block away from the bank in like a business alley, like a parking lot essentially.
Okay, that's not helpful. Yeah, so I'll just see if I can access police records then.
Okay, this one's gonna be a hard.
Ugh.
And this one really counts because...
Yeah?
yeah, that's 5 successes. No. 3 successes and...
2 threats.
2 threats. Not enough to trigger anything super bad. So you do access the records. What can you disadvantage for in like computer hacking stuff?
Maybe I trip some sort of alarm.
That's what I was thinking, but that ordinarily that's either a despair or a 3.
Maybe it takes me a particularly long time or something.
Well, there's a chart in here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. You can look.
232.
I don't really know if there's a chart for hacking, but maybe it's somewhere in there.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'll spend it on. So limited access, but it's modified since we're not actually in like a turn-based encounter. The hacker may perform only one hacking action or one hacking maneuver during their next turn. So essentially, you can move through the system, but you have to move intentionally slow, or else you're gonna get dinged. So it takes you a long time to get this information. At this point, you've been working for about almost an hour. In our terms, it would probably be like close to 10 already.
No one else is in the office yet?
Nope.
Weird.
Nothing's happening. It's this whole hacking montage. Information's flowing past your screen.
So yeah, I continued doing that, and I just let it go. I'm just really slow about it.
I guess Cassandra would eventually get back.
Yeah.
It's like almost 10. She comes back in. You hear like a ding of the door. Do we have like an old doorbell above this thing?
Like a physical bell?
No, it looks like a physical bell, but it just moves and it's a hologram. It does that thing where when it contacts, it like clips through the door a little, and then like it lags behind, then it glitches back to just normal, but it still makes the sound.
I like it.
Yeah.
Alright, I can go out the office and just sort of see who's come in.
She takes one look at you and she just like ignores you and goes sits down back at her desk. Yeah. And she starts logging into some stuff and she has like paperwork aplenty. Just a clickety clack, clickety clack.
I bring
She's still wearing her glasses, by the way? Like, is that a thing she always wears?
Yeah, she just wears it all the time. It's
okay.
Weird. I bring up the bank or the ledger. I get it on like a paper, or the tablet display thing. Yeah,
the paper nook
yeah, that sort of thing.
The nook paper.
I sort of just bring it over to her and I'm just like, if you don't mind, I think I could use your help on something. I'm not too good with this accounting stuff, but there's some money missing from here.
Money? Money?
I'd appreciate it if you could help me find out where it went.
What it is you're working on? This? And she like She like adjusts her glasses a little bit, swivels her chair, and looks at it.
It's for a job.
Oh, I take it this is something to do with Oliver then.
Yeah.
I suppose I'll take a look at it, but I'll have to wait. There's some important documents that need to be coming up. We don't want anyone getting suspicious about our finances now, would we?
No, we wouldn't.
Alright, give me a couple hours.
Alright, fine.
Oh, by the way, Denton messaged in. He
Oh.
said that he was following up on a few leads. He'll be in after lunch.
Okay, that's fine. If you need me, knock on the door. And I go back to my computer. It's still working on its thing, and I actually just shadow jack into it.
Okay, then because you're not in a situation where it's detrimental
Yeah.
if you fail, you just do it. Did you happen to want to spend experience on a Shadowjack talent or something?
Not yet.
Okay.
So, I do that, and my system is actually, I've done some work to make sure it's particularly protected against other Shadowjacks.
Hold on, wait, real quick. You jump into your network, so you have a little clubhouse.
Yeah, basically.
Well, it's not a clubhouse, because I don't imagine.
It's a same thing.
Describe it. I want to
So,
see this. I want to.
yeah.
I want to visualize it. Hold on. Let me get some more coffee first.
So, I go in, and when I get in there, open up like a screen basically in space where so that it shows me what's going on while it's doing this search through the police records, because it's really slow. So I can see it in there and just keep an eye on it. But other than the screen, there's no actual like representations of the computer. It's this black floor, but like when you touch it, it sort of like feels like sand, but you can't actually like pick the sand up.
It's like it gives a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a river that goes through it. It's not a river; it's more like a stream. It's not particularly fast or deep, but
So it's like those really fancy houses that have a pool, and like the pool runs under the house, but like they have a glass representation of it.
yeah, sorta.
Yeah, and there's like koi fish or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fancy houses. But in your case, there's data going through it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, there's little bits of data going through it and stuff like that, but like it feels like water.
What's the vibe? Because like I'm seeing this as a room, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a room, but like what sort of aesthetic is it going for? Like, are you talking about like 80s, like wood paneling, or
There's no
Futuristic?
actual walls. It sort of just continues on. And besides this river, the area around it is mostly just black and empty.
Mhm.
And there's slight blue line that kind of surrounds the space because it obviously can't be an infinite space.
Mhm.
But there's this faint blue line that's like this barrier.
Okay. So it's just this trackless thing with like a single pool.
Mm-hmm. It's not, yeah, but it flows. Like it comes from out of this barrier through it and goes out the other side.
Okay. And I'm also imagining it like connections of rivers that come in, and you can kind of see them coming in, then they pass here, and then they go wherever else. So
Mhm.
when you actually stand there, you can look out and you can kind of see the information coming towards you.
Yeah.
But it's this weird effect where like there's data flowing in the streams, and then the streams itself move slightly, and they like flow together, and then they like disconnect.
Yeah.
So it's like
that.
this weird image of them, like a mirage of rivers coming towards you.
Yeah, they're always moving around.
So you don't have any furniture or anything? Just all
Nah.
okay.
But
Ooh, it does this thing where like you sit above the river, just cross-legged, looking at it, like
Mhm.
floating a couple feet off the ground.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining.
And after some time, a figure walks into the shot. My physical representation this time is actually me. I don't have that weird mannequin sort of thing. But another figure sort of walks into the space, like through the barrier. And
they materialize.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
and they slowly materialize, and it's a female figure. There's a halo around behind her head, not over it, and there are these digital like wings behind her. And she walks in and looks around, and it's a silent shot. And Vint sort of reaches into the river and pulls out like a file and hands it to her, and then she goes away. They exchange words, but you can't hear them because it's a silent shot.
And real quick, just because I can't remember myself, what clothes does your character normally wear? He wears like a trench coat, yeah? That's the only visual I have. Like anything else?
Trench coat, usually like just a t-shirt underneath, slacks.
Okay.
After that, he just sort of stays there.
Alright, I think we'll do a transition to Denton. See what Denton's up to. Yeah, he's walking down the street and there's like a crowd around him. He got this troubled look on his face, and he's in like a really crowded section, so he's like making his way through the crowd. Is there anything you want to throw at him? Because if not, he has a agenda in terms of getting to some place.
I want to see where you're going with this first.
Okay, so there's a shot of an overlooking, and it kind of has like this weird crowd shot where like you only know Denton because of the outfit that he normally wears, which is like a I guess bomber jacket-esque looking thing. It's leather, but it has like a collar, and on inside the collar, it's not wool. It's like a nanofiber type looking thing, and it's obviously military-esque cut. And then he also is just wearing like what did I describe him?
When you say bomber jacket, you mean those like leather like flight jackets?
It essentially it's what he wore when he was in a mech. But he just kept it because like he was allowed
those
to.
Are cool. I want to
yeah.
get one of those someday.
So like he has it's like that, but it's futuristic. Yeah. And rather than wool, it has like a nano fiber like thing that's kind of looks like carbon fiber print, like that look to it. Yeah, it's like that on the inside.
Oh, weird.
I know, right? Yeah, and he's wearing that, and he has his.
Yeah, so like the jacket has that like fluffy inside, but it's just black.
It's black, but it's like black grayish.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, right. Fury. You know the movie Fury?
No, I didn't see it.
Their haircut. They have like the buzz sides, and it kind of looks like how people wear their hair nowadays. You know what? No, I'm gonna pull a picture of it. Like this. His hair is somewhat like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's long, but it's buzzed on the sides. And he's walking through the crowd, and that's the only thing. Then it zooms in, and he's walking down the street. He has this determined look on his face. And the next shot, there's like he opens a door, and there's a small like ding, and it has a shot showing like it looks like it has miscellaneous stuff. It looks like a pawn shop almost. He goes up to the guy at the register, and he says, "I need to talk to Clint."
Sure thing.
Is he in the back?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. And then he goes down towards like the restroom area, turns off into an employee-only section, and they open the door, and it's like a gambling den type thing. There's people playing cards, some people just relaxing on the chair. He walks past everyone and not even acknowledging them, but one person.
So there's multiple tables.
Yeah. Well, it's more of like a hangout spot.
So
okay. There's a couch where people are just lounging about. A couple people playing cards, but it's in the morning, so there's not a lot of. It looks like there's space for more. He walks right past them and goes straight to an office, and then the door closes, and then there's like it's like an old manager's plaque, but it's kind of been scratched out, and it says like Overlord or something weird like that. The guy sitting at the desk is a very militaristic looking guy, and he's sitting there with his eyes closed, and he got like a hollow helmet on, and he's sitting there, and he's going back and forth like this, and then faintly you hear like the sounds of gunshot coming from his helmet. It's obvious he's playing like a first-person shooter game or something. And then Denton looks at him and he says, "Clint."
He takes it off and is just like, "Oh, Denton, wasn't expecting you today."
No, just something came up. I have a lot of shit's been happening. He kind of cricks his neck and takes a seat. Look, I have a couple of things, and I was hoping you could help me with.
Well, what can I help you with?
So, real quick, this is actually a cell of an orc organization known as the...
Is this guy an orc or a human?
This guy's an orc.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Orc Tribunal is their sort of like unspoken culture. Not all of them apply to it, but there are some clans that really adhere to it. And the Valreg are just like a militaristic type people that are just like historic military generals and stuff. That's basically it. Think of they're more like samurai-esque. They have like this militaristic culture, and they have that kind of vibe about them. But they're very well respected. They have this high stature, and like they run companies, they do some cool stuff. They run military factions and stuff like that.
Is this the kind of person who'd have a sword set on his desk?
He would probably have it on like his wall. Because this character, I've been playing around with him for a little bit. I kind of imagine him as like a cross between a military buff and a weeb. You know what I mean?
So he would have a sword set.
Yeah.
Just on the wall, not the desk.
Yeah, I mean, he might have it on his desk. One of the factions that I was going to have him be part of would be the Valric Orc clan. Yeah, they're historically militant, but they've dwindled in power.
Okay, but he's the other one?
Valrig.
Okay.
they were never associated fully with the Crimson Conclave,
Mm-hmm.
but this guy in particular, he's sympathetic. He runs his pawn shop.
/ gambling den.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I sit down on his couch, and I say, I need some help. We're trying to track down a few people.
I'd be happy to help. Who are you looking for?
Guy that goes by the name of Karatz.
Karatz. I don't know if he knows about it.
He would know definitively about Karatz. The problem is whether or not he would want to share it. Karatz is actually a faction leader for the Tazlan clan. And real quick, the Tazlan clan is the one who owns that big corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, there's been a lot of internal conflict. Their faction splintered. He's a son of the previous leader. He was attempting to gain sway in order to take over the company.
So does Denton already know that?
No, Denton doesn't.
Okay.
But this guy would.
Who's asking?
Me, I guess. I'm not entirely sure because this is a lot of information that should be kept under the radar. The only reason why I'm coming to you is because I trust you.
I appreciate that trust. It's not a whole lot I can tell you. He's Tazlan, and he's been under some heat recently for some things he might have said or might not have said. That's the official word that I've been given.
Sure? Nothing else? Not even his name? Like, because it means something, right?
Of course, always does.
And you can come up with anything. I didn't think of anything there.
What's his character like?
Just imagine like orc, frat boy-esque type person that like became a businessman. That's kind of how he would be. The Tazlan orcs, they're essentially like country club type people. They have a high sense of like, everybody in the clan has to contribute something positive. You have high expectations. You're going into politics. You're going into business. You're doing something great. They have that like mentality about their entire culture.
So is this like a virtue name sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay. That means heritage.
Heritage. I guess it makes sense coming from the Tazlan. Alright, well, hey, do you know anything about what's happening in Gown? There's a lot of rumors going about, a lot of things happening over there. Anything you can tell me?
Have you seen the news? Other than that, not much else.
News.
It's been on. I've seen a few things on the news here and there. Nothing. Honestly, nothing out of the usual for Gown. Just murders, robberies, assaults, things like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, shit. And then kind of like they do some bantering about like, hey, how the kids and stuff like that. But I don't want to make you roleplay that. Yeah, they go back and forth, and eventually Denton kind of like gets up, closes the door, and then says, "I heard Ripjaw is back in town somewhere. There's a lot of rumors going around, but the rumor mill says there's a buzzing with the fact that Ripjaw was spotted back in Vessel.
Where?
He was near Gown the day before last, and there was an entire room got shot up in a business section of Gown. The sighting of Ripjaw puts him somewhere in that area, and I don't know what this all means, but there's a lot of things going on. Is there anything you can tell me?
Does he know anything?
You tell me. But since I built a lot of it, I don't want to be in the know about everything that's happening. And so if you want to plant some seeds there, just throw some random ideas.
So he would just sort of be like, well, his timing can't exactly be any better if you sort of get what I mean, but...
What, like...
It's kind of convenient, don't you think?
What, Ripjaw?
Yeah. With the Tazlan falling apart, and with a lot of the other orcs leaving their clans, so it would be a little convenient if the Red Hellions suddenly came up and picked up all the pieces.
I guess, but the Red Hellions really threw their all in with the Crimson Conclave.
Ripjaw was never the big fan.
What do you mean? Like, but didn't he found it?
I don't know much myself, but the word is he was kind of got coerced into doing it himself. He never liked it that much.
Huh. Oh, another bit of data that I think he would know about. Ripjaw actually married into his clan, the Vareg. Because orc culture, I made this intentionally, they're a maternal society. I guess they're like the clan leaders, but they're not like the foot soldiers type thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's an entirely different cultural paradigm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he married into like one of the higher ranking clan members, but she died during the rebellion.
Okay, so
A lot of lore building stuff here. I'm sorry. It's hard to follow. I think we'll have to do convenient little relationship maps.
So yeah, he was never a big fan of the Crimson Concord that much. I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to break from it altogether. A lot happened. A lot happened those years.
It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
We all did.
A lot of things in motion. Look, I don't know if this is supposed to be public information, but just if you can, just avoid telling people until we know what's fully going on. Is there anything I could do for you?
Stay safe.
He gets up, he leaves. The scene transitions was kind of like
on
just
your way out. There's actually someone on one of the couches in here.
the obligatory dark corner couch.
Exactly.
Yeah, with with a table and like a hookah thing on it.
Kind of motions to you and has you take a seat. It's a female figure, human.
I imagine they're playing like soft music in here, but I always imagine orcs listening to metal. So I imagine there's some sort of metal in the background. I don't know. What genre of music would orcs like?
German industrial.
Oh man, that would actually make a lot of sense. And it fits really well with the cyber theme we're going with.
Really gritty industrial style music.
Right, so I go up, I take a seat. How is this person dressed?
So she is dressed like these like bright blue leggings and a dress over it, and over the dress is like this clear like plastic looking raincoat.
Like, is it transparent?
A little bit.
To match with her leggings, it'd probably be like a light blue.
Yeah, it's like a light blue.
Transparent thing?
Light blue, like partially transparent.
Okay.
Like plasticky looking raincoat.
I've worn things like that. It gets so sweaty so fast. Those plastic things don't breathe.
Denton, is it?
Yes. I don't think I have the pleasure of knowing who you are, though.
I talked to you earlier over Vince's phone.
Oh. So you're Squinty Eye, right?
I can see how you would come to that. I'm Oracle. And I'm actually quite unused to calling River by name, but he's River.
River?
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Alright.
Look, I just
so like you dating or something?
No, absolutely.
So
there's this whole mess going on right now, and I'm trying to we're doing our best to find out the same information you are. And it's in both of our interests if we share. Vince's not going to tell me.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole way we operate. That's the reason why the Crimson Conclave we have cells. You're not supposed to be contacting me, I'm not supposed to be contacting you. That's just the way we do things.
But I think we can both benefit a little bit if we work together.
Lean back, run my hand through my hair. What do you need?
With Ripjaw coming back into the scene, we haven't had this much heat and this much danger on us for quite some time. So I just need to know if you have any sort of information on where Ripjaw might be going, or how the church is reacting to any of this. You know.
Look, we just started investigating yesterday. I mean, we went to that place, but they had it on lockdown. You got local gown enforcement all running amok in that place. They had forensics in there, but from what we can tell, whatever did cause that humbug purged the records in the nearby bank, got rid of the recording of the street, and shot up
eyewitness reports.
There's a lot of people are saying that someone jumped out of a ninth story. Odd thing though is that that's not showing up on any news reports. Just people say that it happened.
Okay.
And what else? Shit. There's also it's basically it. There's nothing else. I mean, aside from the possibility that he was sighted, but there's been nothing else that says anything about Ripjaw.
Alright. It's not much, but it might help. Stay safe out there. And keep River out of trouble.
Who? Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Of course. Always.
Oh, and do you keep a device on you in any way? In case I need to contact you again. I'd hate to have to use Vince's phone again.
Stops. His eyes dart random places, and he's like, yes. But he's obviously lying.
Really? You don't
I mean, we got the computer.
You don't keep one of those on you?
I can't carry that thing with me. It's too big.
We've had phones. These little... Like, she pulls out like a physical, like, iPhone-looking thing. These have been around forever.
No, I know they exist. It's just in the military, all you got is like ear comms, and then you got radios. But I can use those. I just never had a reason to have a phone. Can't use
All right, fine.
handheld devices.
Get out of here and don't tell River you saw me.
Why?
We're not supposed to talk that much.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling you. Cells.
It's complicated.
Right.
I've not been part of the Crimson Concord for some time.
At least wear a disguise next time. And as I get up, I start leaving. And then I guess we sort of scene transition. I guess next we'll cut to you. What would you have been doing in this interim?
Just waiting.
All right then.
You would have gotten really bored.
Probably gotten some food or something.
Yeah.
And then I guess you get a update from Cassandra, because I still need to roll her. What would it be to like do accounting skills? Is there a
Perception?
I guess. I mean, she would just get boost die, right? Because she's good at accounting.
Maybe. Yeah.
That looks right?
Sure.
Alright, so it's a hard check. She has 4 intellect, and she has 1 proficiency in perception.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, she succeeds.
Yep.
That's that. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes and
No threats.
1 threat.
Yeah, 1 threat.
Yeah. So yeah, she's looking through it. DM talk here. The Mushroom Entertainment Conglomerate. They siphoned money to fund a mech production plant, as well as a couple of military munitions.
Dang.
They siphoned money to fund munitions production. So that what they were covering up was they were siphoning money to all these things. So they are essentially the Red Hellions munitions production thing. That's what the accounting information was.
Okay.
I don't know where you got this from, but whoever cooked these books was good. This company siphoned money from all over the place and siphoned them into munitions funds, creating tanks, mechs, guns, ammo, rations, and military paraphernalia for a bunch of unsavory fellas, among them the original Red Hellions.
Okay.
Primarily Orc Run. They were dissolved back in 35, which from our period of time would be about 6 years.
Thanks, that gives me a few ideas.
I don't know anything about this. They're in Sinless, though.
Doesn't ring any bells?
No.
I looked them up online. Some sort of business owner. He's not doing anything right now, but don't happen to have any business contacts who might know what he's doing these days?
There's a couple of things, but it would arouse suspicion among many of my cohorts. I mean, I can ask. There's a few people I trust, but the networks that I run with aren't fast or covert.
Don't worry about it then.
Anything else? Pretty soon our license will come through, and once we have that ought to make you boys' work a hell of a lot easier. Do you keep the light on in this room, like really bright, or is it dim?
Right now it's pretty dim, but once it's actually open, it'll be brighter.
So one thing that we noticed now that, because it's the first time she's been in a dark environment, right, we see her, on the outline of her glasses there's like a weird blue light. So it's her glasses are actually like a screen type thing. Alright, if that's all, then I got paperwork to do. And she closes the door.
No.
Alright, and then we'll smash cut!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Vessel. This podcast was recorded and edited by Albert and Alan and published by Blanket Term. If you liked this episode, consider joining us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/blanketterm, on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific for our world building stream. Music for this podcast included compositions Andreas Theme, Chill Wave, Miami Viceroy, and Slow Jam by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. If Alice and Bob are away, what does everyone else do?